Booster vaccines have been around for a long time and are standard for many vaccinations. Certain immunizations require annual revaccinations or maybe a multiple dose series. For example, vaccines against influenza, measles, and tetanus all require more than one vaccine in a lifetime to maintain immunity. Annual vaccines, as with the case of influenza vaccine, are given due to strain changes in the virus that evolve over time. These are not technically boosters, but also do not have one and done protection. More traditional boosters are needed to maintain immunity against infections such as measles, mumps, tetanus, or pneumococcal disease. In these cases, our immunity gained from a vaccine decreases with time, and the booster doses restore it to a level that continues to protect us over our lifetime. And that's the goal, to ensure people have the best protection possible against vaccine-preventable diseases throughout their lives. When you recognize that a patient needs either an annual vaccine or a booster dose of a vaccine, it is important to let the patient know what the vaccine is, when they last received it, and why they need it. People are smart, and a simple explanation with your recommendation can go a long way. One example of this would be, "Hi, Mr. Jones, it looks like you had your last tetanus or Tdap vaccine about 16 years ago. The immunity provided by the vaccine starts to decrease after about a decade, which is why it's recommended to get a dose every 10 years. Would you like to get it today?" Informing the patient before offering the next booster saves confusion for the patient as to why you're offering them a vaccine that they've had in the past. Vaccines can be obtained from many different sources. Emergency rooms, hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies are just a few of the places a person can receive immunizations. It's possible that the person obtained the additional dose and forgot to report it. This type of encounter can still be beneficial as a prompt that ensures that the records are up to date. You will have patients who will easily accept the vaccine dose offer, but you will have others that may want to clarify things before they agree to another immunization. As I mentioned earlier, it's important to educate people on the importance of boosters and which vaccinations have them. Much of the general population still believes most vaccines, or at least the ones administered to adults, are a one-and-done shot. Take time to explain why multiple doses are necessary to ensure adequate immunity. There was so much confusion during the COVID-19 pandemic regarding how many boosters were needed after receiving the primary series. The vaccine schedule is now much simpler than when the vaccine first came out. But the composition of the vaccine has also changed since its original availability, and that alone is enough to cause valid confusion. The new bivalent mRNA vaccine is produced using the original strain of the SARS-CoV-2, sometimes known as the ancestral strain, and from the Omicron strains BA.4 and BA.5, which became predominant in the summer of 22. Those who successfully completed the primary series and who may have even received a booster shot before the bivalent became available may not see a need for continued vaccination against COVID-19. Sometimes it is helpful to explain other benefits than newer versions of the vaccine can provide. The new bivalent mRNA COVID-19 vaccine is 37% more effective than the older COVID-19 boosters at preventing severe COVID-19. Viruses change. It's important that vaccines keep pace. New strains, better studies, and updated technologies continue to drive newer and better vaccines. Sometimes it is helpful to relate this to other diseases where patients are more familiar with emerging and improved medications. Research and development continuously drives innovation and improvement in the management of things such as heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Just like people want new treatments for those potentially devastating diseases, it's equally important to bring about newer and better vaccines. Whether or not the encounter changes their mind on receiving an indicated vaccination dose, it is most important to remain respectful and always maintain that it is solely up to the patient and which decision they make for their health. Patient handouts regarding vaccination series can be informative to give patients. For patients starting a multi-dose vaccine, it's useful to talk about setting reminders, whether it be the patient setting personal reminders, or having a pharmacy contact them when it is time to receive the next vaccination. Together, we can help reduce the burden of vaccine-preventable diseases in our community. For more information, please visit the A Shot for Alabama webpage at ashotforalabama.com.